Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? We'll wait for a few of you to show up. Sitting back, man, about to watch this little quick first round fight between Michael Dokes and Weaver. Wait till a few of y'all show up. Michael Dokes versus Mike Weaver, the first fight. That's what I'm about to watch. Talk about little AJ and Parker. Also want to talk about Darmani Rock. He's going to be in action March 30th. And Gary Cornish is back March 31st. Just wanted to talk about those two heavyweights. The Celtic was good, man. Wait till a few y'all show up. A few more people, man. This fight right here, this Dokes versus Weaver, this first fight they had was for Weaver's WBA heavyweight title. I believe this was 82. Yeah, because they had an immediate rematch after this because of the controversial. A lot of people thought it was controversial with the stoppage in this first fight. Now during this time, everybody was still looking at Larry Holmes as the champ. You know what I mean? Although that WBA title was out there, Weaver had knocked out Big John Tate. Big John Tate had beat Jerry Coetzee for the vacant title. We know how that title was vacated. Leon Spinks, after he beat Ali, he ended up giving Ali the rematch. And well, after he beat Ali, the WBC wanted him to fight Norton, right? And he didn't want to do that. He did the honorable thing by giving Ali the rematch. Then they gave that title to Norton, and then Norton fought Holmes, and he ended up losing to Holmes. So when Ali had beat Leon Spinks and he got that WBA, we know that he retired during that time. He let the title go, and Big John Tate fought Jerry Coetzee for the vacant title. But people were still looking at Larry Holmes as the champ, though. You know what I mean? Going into this fight right here, man, this Dokes and Weaver, this first fight, after Weaver had beat Big John Tate, man, he only fought like twice in like I believe like 2.5 years or something like that. He had fought Tillis when Tillis was undefeated, and he fought Jerry Coetzee. Uh, Ironic, man, because Coetzee, when he finally won the title, he beat Michael Dokes. I believe he beat Michael Dokes in his hometown too. Um, so this was an interesting fight. It's fight week for Parker versus AJ. I seen the presser today. Seen a lot of interviews. Um, can't wait, man. But this right here was a special time in these early '80s, man, from like '80 to '83. Um, just like that new crop of guys coming in after the Ali era. Although we know that Holmes fought Ali was it 80 or 81, something like that. I believe he fought him in 81, 80. I forget the top of my head. But was good to people showing up. Corey Lee Boxing was good. He said still trying to do a video or go live with you. Yeah, man, we gonna hook up, bro. We definitely gonna hook up. Mark Blake was good, man. AV London, what's up? Just talking about this Mike Weaver and Michael Dokes fight for the WBA title. Ended in the first round. It was a pretty good fight to watch. They ended up having an immediate rematch after this because of the stoppage. A lot of people thought it was, a lot of controversy behind it. I don't think the ref should have stopped it, although Dokes did bum rush his ass. And Weaver just didn't throw back when he was on them ropes, man. But during between like 1980 and 83, obviously we had Larry Holmes and Holmes from 80, because Weaver wasn't really active. Like I said, when he won the title in 80, man, there was like damn near 2.5 years or 2 years where he only fought twice. He beat Tillis and Coetzee, whereas you had Holmes, he had beat Weaver a year before he won the title in 79, and then during his 80 to 83 or 82, 80 around that run, I know he beat Ali, beat Burbick, Leon Spinks, he beat Snipes, he beat Cooney. Who else did he beat? Cobb. So he was an active champion, whereas Weaver, he wasn't really active like that. You know what I'm saying? So this fight right here was to just pretty much to decide who was the second best heavyweight. Dokes came out fire, man. Dokes had very fast hands, man. I know people remember him in his losses, man. Ooh, yo, Weaver was banging with them, though. Yo, they came out banging in this first round, man. They came out banging, throwing hooks and upper. Ooh, just knocked him out with a hook. Weaver got dropped. Weaver got dropped hard, man. Dokes came. And then if you watch the rematch, although that went to, people, it was scored a draw. Dokes came out firing in that first round too, of that fight. Yeah, Dokes got him against the ropes, teeing off. Weaver threw a wide hook. He missed. Dokes just teeing off, man. But Weaver, he's good right hand by Dokes. Another good right hand. Another good right hand. He just winging. Ooh, uppercut just missed. Nice work in the body. Now he's lining him up with the jab. Good right hand. Good left hook. Another good right hand. Then the ref he broke him apart to stop the fight. So that was some bullshit. Although he was teeing off and he was definitely winning this first round, he got a knockdown and everything. They shouldn't have stopped the fight, man. They shouldn't have stopped this fight. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get to AJ and Parker, man. I just want to start this off. I'm watching y'all know how I do, man. I watch old school fights, 60s, 70s, 80s. I just go and watch heavyweight fights from any decade I just pick. So right now I'm on my early 80s, the beginning of the decade shit right now. So um but yeah, man, from before Mike came around and that 86 and 87, 80, that 85 and 86 and all that, uh that like 80 to 84, Jerry Cote and Larry Holmes and Cooney and Burbick and Pinky Thomas, Tim Weatherspoon, Ronaldo Snipes. You had Tillis, Greg Page. Then you had guys going into the middle and late decade. Iron Mike, Bruno, and Smith, and all those guys. Even Michael Spinks had moved up. Douglas was making a name for himself. Tony Tucker. The list goes on and on, man. You had Tony in the earlier parts, going into the middle, late parts, Tubbs, so a lot of guys that were coming in after that Ali era, man, But Holmes was leading that era, just that people was looking at him like he was a watered down version of Ali. He wasn't really respected. They, was giving him his props here and there, like this fight right here. Larry Merchant was giving him his props, just saying that the winner of this fight, this Dokes versus Weaver fight, will be looked at as the second best heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the bad guy Dokes versus Holyfield was a damn good fight. You know what I'm saying? But I recommend y'all, if y'all never seen this fight, man, watch this Weaver versus Dokes first fight. Bullshit stoppage. They came out firing. It was a good first round. And then the rematch was also a good fight in my opinion too, man. But this was pretty much to see who was the second best heavyweight behind Larry Holmes. Um, yeah, they're showing a replay right now. Dokes came out firing, man. And then even after like uh when Holmes had all those defenses from like I believe it was 80. I'm freestyling this, but like 80 to 82. I know in 83 is when he fought I know he fought Witherspoon, um Scott Frank, somebody else. I forget. He fought somebody else. And then I know that was the last year he held that WBC because the WBC did not want to sanction a fight with him and Marvis Frazier. Um I forget who they wanted him to fight. I know they wouldn't sanction the fight. So he dropped that WBC title, and then that's when he made a name for that IBF strap, and that's when the IBF came around. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up doing this thing with that title. Um, so AJ Parker, let's get to that now. Before we get to that, let me talk about one prospect in Darmani Rock, and I want to talk about Gary Cornish real quick. Some of the today's heavyweights. All right, Darmani Rock, undefeated U.S. prospect. He was the favorite for the U.S. to make it to the Olympics in Rio. He ended up losing in the Olympic trials. He lost to Marlo Moore. I believe Moore is he working with who is Moore working with right now? Is he working with Parker? I know he's working with either A. Is he? I think he's working with Parker right now in sparring. Either AJ. I heard he either's working with AJ or Parker. Somebody leave it in the comment section. He's working with somebody right now, but he's trained by Virgil Hunter out there in the Bay Area. He ended up beating Darmani Rock, man, in the Olympic, like I said, in the Olympic trials. And before the Olympic trials, like a few months before that, Darmani Rock had beat him in the nationals. You know what I mean? So Darmani Rock, and at that time he was 19 years old. I think he's like 21 now, 2020. I think he's 21. Um, and he was looked at to win gold, not just make it, but a lot of people thought, a lot of the press here thought he would go there and win gold. 19 years old at the time, 6'5", 250 pounds, quick and move. Kid out of Philly, you know, the kid could fight. You know what I mean? So he signed with Rock Nation. I believe he's 10-0 right now. He's been on a few Andre Ward undercards. Um, just want to see the kid develop more, get better. He is fighting Ronnie Hale, and I actually seen Ronnie fight. I seen him fight Rockman Jr. was it last month or a few months ago. Yo, he probably won that fight, man. He was pushing Rockman Jr. He was going from righty to lefty, landing overhands and like overhand rights and overhand lefts. Uh, his physique isn't going to wow you. He isn't super tall or has a long jab. You know, you look at his record, you think 4-11, all this guy's bullshit, but in those little 4 rounders, 6 rounders, he'll push some of these prospects. Roberto Alfonso, a Cuban guy who I believe is 13-0. He's been in a lot of Wilder camps. He pushed him to the limit in like a 4 rounder. Uh, James Kinsey Morrison, one of the sons of Tommy Morrison. I know you guys heard of Trey Lippy Morrison. I think Trey Lippy's better than Kinsey. But he pushed him to the limit. But he's been knocked out, you know. Gregory Corbin knocked him out. Dominic Brazil knocked him out, you know. But I think he will test Darmani Rock. Obviously I'm gonna pick Rock to win the fight, but I'm, curious to see how Rock responds to this guy who's going to come out and just swing for the fences on him. You know what I mean? So he isn't one of them journeymen that's going to throw up the high guard and let you just beat him down. He will come out fighting, and you have to decide how you want to handle him from there. He can't be knocked out. You know what I mean? So it's going to be, hopefully that fight goes to YouTube, man. I wanted to also talk about George Arias, but I haven't looked him up in like a few months, man. So I'm going to get to him probably in the next video. Gentleman George Arias. Not the journeyman from Brazil, but the Dominican prospect out of New York, out of the Bronx, out of the BX. Short heavyweight. I like his style. Kind of reminds me of, now let me be careful when I say this. He has a Joe Frazier-esque type of style. I'm not saying the kid is Joe Frazier, but he has that type of style. High motor, high energy type of guy. You know what I mean? So probably talk about him on the next video. Um, And then Gary Cornish is coming back to BoxRec has him with no opponent. His fight, he came back and beat a journeyman, but before that fight, he fought Sam Sexton, which I thought was a pretty decent fight. They fought for one of those minor titles. I forget which one. Uh, Cornish might be a good opponent for somebody like Daniel Dubois down the road. Nathan Gorman or Nick Webb or somebody like that. Maybe even Joe Joyce. You know what I mean? Maybe even Joe Joyce. He only has 2 losses. You know, obviously the loss to AJ and then the loss to Sexton. Um, but yeah, he will be making a return March 31st. There's no opponent set on BoxRec, so hopefully that is a real date for him to come back. So I just want to talk about Darmani Rock and Gary Cornish. Now let's get to some AJ stuff. I'm gonna just see what y'all talking about, man, and we'll go from there. Okay, Corey Lee Boxing says Marlowe is in Parker's camp. Okay, yeah, that makes sense since it's West Coast, Moore's from the Bay Area, Parker trains in Vegas for all his fights. Yeah, that makes the most sense. The bad guy says, no, well, hold on. The bad guy says, who's the hardest puncher? Who's the hardest punching middleweight? Julian something. Rockstar 1996 says, in Malik's own words, he's cut up like a bag of like a bag of coke. Yeah, I seen that. I didn't watch the video, but I seen that that title in my the people I'm sub to. I seen that video, but I didn't watch it though. Good to see you getting busy, Mr. Boxing today. For sure, for sure. Karan Bread says, I take I think y'all talking to each other. The Celtics says Lucas Brown should fight Cornish. Yeah, I mean, if he wants to take one more fight, but shit, man, if he comes in out of shape like that, man, I mean, Cornish is no a world beater, man, but damn, Lucas Brown got to come in shape though, man. You just can't show up any kind of damn way. You know what I mean? Uh, I thought he would be in a lot better shape. Not that I thought he's going to be cut up like a bag of dope, but I thought that he would definitely come in better shape than that, man. I mean, his fucking gut was just bulging. Now he's never been this cut up guy like that, but he at least been around 250 before. For the Chigaya fight, he was 250, and for him to come into a fight like this at this point, the biggest fight of his career at 265, you're not giving yourself a chance to win. And maybe if he would have came in at 245, he would have still lost. But at least you're giving you're maximizing your chances to win. You know what I mean? This dude just showed up any kind of damn way. The bad guy says Julian Jackson. Yeah, Julian Jackson could crack. I remember watching his fights with McClellan, man, and he fought McClellan twice. But yeah, Jackson could fucking crack though. Read these comments. Mark Blake was good. Duke Owen was good, man. Corey Lee Boxing says Brazil versus Wilder in the work right now. Did a video on it. Yeah, I watched your video. Hey, I know I don't comment a lot, Corey Lee, and I see you've been doing a grip of live streams and stuff. I probably don't comment a lot because when I listen to live streams, sometimes I'm doing stuff and I'll listen. But I definitely been catching your videos, man. I did see that video title. That doesn't surprise me. I know that Wilder. It's either going to be, in my opinion, I think it's going to be Brazil or White. That's what I think he's going to fight next. Either Brazil or Dillian White. Schoolbay say, "What's happening? What's happening, man?" Rockstar 1996 says, "You think Wilder's making that fight to spite Hearn? Probably to show him like, hey man, you ain't in control of me. I don't give a damn what you say. I'm do what the hell I want to do." It could be, but either way, though, I'm glad Dillian White or I'm sorry, I'm glad that Brazil's not rated number 14 by the WBC. You know what I'm saying? At least he is rated number 2. My thing is go write down the damn list if you're looking for an opponent. So 1 is White, 2 is Dominic Brazil. But I really do think if it's White and I know a lot of UK fans say, oh, he should go to UK or build the profile. But look, as long as he fight White, to some of you, that's going to build the profile, right? Whether they fight in the UK or they fight in Alabama or they fight on Mars or they fight in Russia or they fight wherever, in Hawaii, wherever you have them fight. The thing is to fight White, or is it to fight White in the UK? I think White should come over here. I mean, if they're dealing with White really wants this fight, then he should have no problems of traveling. I mean, he came over here and fought Malcolm Tan, literally. I mean, and I'm not even trying to joke with you, literally in front of like 33 people, and I'm not even playing. I'm being dead honest with you. Now I know he wasn't a headliner or anything. No, he was buried on the undercard. Him and Bryant Jennings was both on that undercard. Believe Jennings fought Daniel Martz. Both of them dudes literally fought in front of like 33 people, man. That was on the Ndongo Terrence Crawford undisputed the night that Crawford got undisputed out there in Nebraska, out there in Lincoln. Yeah, because they didn't fight in Omaha that night. They fought in Lincoln. So Lincoln, Nebraska. So if he traveled for that shit, he should be on the first thing smoking to get to the Barclays. You know what I'm saying? I know Dillian White wants it in the O2 and things like that, but at the same time, if we doing some negotiations, if Wilder and his team said, "No, let's have it over here," and I think White would take it. If I had to put my money on it, I think Dillian White will probably try to fight for it to be in the UK. But then, if it came down to it's going to be at the Barclays or nothing, I think Dillian White will be on the first thing smoking. Because I really do think he does really want to genuinely fight Wilder. Whether you think he wins or loses, I really do believe that he wants to do that. Ali Sator says, who would have won if Ray Mercer versus Oliver McCall and Joe Frazier versus Ken Norton? Man, these are hard to call, man. These mythical matchups, man. But I think, and I actually read his autobiography, um, the Smoking Joe Frazier autobiography, and according to Joe Frazier, he used to beat the hell out of Ken Norton in sparring. I forgot the name of that damn book, man. Damn, fuck. But he used to beat the shit, or according to him, he used to beat the hell out of Ken Norton in sparring. But whether that's true or not, and I really don't think Smoking Joe would have anything to lie about as far as that. I don't think he would lie about that. Um, I think Joe Frazier beats Norton 10 times out of 10, just based on their style. And Norton always had problems with guys that could crack. Cooney, Foreman, guys like that. He always had problem with guys that could crack. Man, he had more success. Like I think he will always be in a good fight with guys like Ali, Holmes, and I know it's easy for me to say that because he was, but guys like that, Jimmy Young, and them type of dudes, he'll always be in the fight against guys. They can box a little bit because he can block and parry and kind of throw them off a little bit because they really want to counter and and shit like that. So he can throw up that little defense and move his head and then work his jab in there. They don't have enough power to catch him cold and knock him out. So he'll take chances and he could box too a little bit. It's just real awkward the way he used to box though. So but against guys that put that crazy pressure on and that can crack, and Frazier could crack. He couldn't crack as hard as Big George or anything, but Joe will mow you down, man. Joe will mow you down. The dude was a little trained, man. That dude will fucking mow you down. Leo Donald, what's up, man? He says, Cornish been sparring Povetkin. That's a good sparring partner. A tall, kind of, guy want to use that jab and try to find his right hand. Stand straight up. I think that's a good sparring partner for Price. Although Price in his last fight looked like a watered down version of Tyson Fury though. And that fight he had with Sokolowski. And he was winded after that one, man. Sokolowski, like, he could have won another 5 rounds. Price had that look on his face like, whew, I'm glad this shit over with. That's the look he had on his face after that fight. Corey Lee Boxing says, Joe Joyce is trash. Usyk will be the best heavyweight in 2 years. Watch and remember me saying that pound for pound number one. Well, one thing I will say, like I've said a million times, he did dominate that World Series of boxing. When Joe Joyce was in it, and he was schooling them dudes, man. Junior Fa, Matteo Madungno, who was last time I checked, Madungno was undefeated. I believe he was like 18 or 19-0 last I checked. And these dudes are all 6'6", 250, and Usyk was in there making them dudes look foolish, man. I mean, dominated the World Series of boxing at super heavyweight. But somebody says, "Oh, will you do keys to victory for AJ versus Parker?" Oh, you talking about using my heavy bag? You guys ain't seen my playlist, man. Go to my playlist and go to my keys to victory. I break down fights using my heavy bag. I'm gonna try to, man. It's just that room down there that I usually do that, we turn that into a storage, and that bag, I have to bring that from my other workout room. Um, and it's just, I don't know. I gotta just rearrange it downstairs. I'm just too lazy to go down there and do it, man. Cause I still work out on that bag, um, but there's really nowhere to really set the camera up like that. So I gotta bring that into that other room and all that type of shit. But yeah, I hit my bag every day though. I stay hitting my bag, man. hit that motherfucker tonight too. Let me see here. Clint, what's good, man? He says, "What's up, Mr. Boxing? Today too. Just got here. You going to do the key?" He said the same thing too. Yeah, man. If y'all want to, yeah, I think I'll do it, man. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. He says you're gonna do keys to victory on the bag. You got to do a little something. How JP gonna get in, or how AJ gonna use uppercut his left hook. I think I'll do it, man. That's I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Stuck in Kiev says, "Cheers from the Ukraine. Since you are talking prospects, who are the top young heavyweights you are keeping your eye on that are under the radar now?" Oh shit! How much time you got? Let me see. Sarenko, Herkovich, Tony Yoko. I know he's going through a suspension or whatever right now. Um, Joe Joyce, Darmani Rock. There's so many. Jermaine Franklin, Trey Lippy Morrison, uh, George Arias, um, Khan Sheehan. I still want to see how he develops. Oscar Rivas is still prospect mode to me until he gets a. Although I know the WBC has him highly rated in their sanctioned body rankings, I still want to see him cross over in fights. He fails all these damn eye exams, man, because that fight with Gerald Washington got took off the table, and the fight with Amir Mansour got taken off the table. Um, who else is out there? Alexander Teslenko, he's up in Canada. Um, or he took his career to Canada, but Teslenko, shit, man. F.A. Ajagba. Um, Bacoli. Um, there's a lot of them, man. Just go to my playlist, y'all. Just go to my playlist on my channel and check out all the prospect watch videos I've done. I've covered literally close to 90 prospects. So pretty much all those dudes, man. Pretty much all those dudes. Because I can throw names out to you, you know what I mean? um, George Arias. I can throw names out all day, but I recommend you guys just go to that playlist and just scroll down, and you'll see all types of dudes on there, man. And I think I just named, what, 10, 11 dudes right off the top. Marlo Moore, who's sparring with Joseph Parker, I want to see him turn pro. You know what I mean? He beat Darmani Rock in the Olympic trials. I talked about that earlier in this video. Um, Stephen Shaw. Jermaine Franklin is one that I really want to see how he develops. Jermaine Franklin, look him up. Really want to see how he develops. Junior Fa. There's a lot of them, yo. Callie Meehan's son. What's Callie Meehan's son first name? Damn, I forget his first name. But that kid got some heavy fucking hands, man. But he hasn't really been active though. Rockstar 1996 says, "Mr. Boxing, how do you feel about Wilder possibly not coming to the UK for AJ vs Parker? It's a shame to me because we want to see Wilder come over to the UK." I actually just did a video about that, man. I just did a video about that. So after this, go ahead and check that out. Um, I did a video about that already, bro. So let's go ahead and check that out after this. I dropped it today. So go ahead and check that out. Scooby says, "From a marketing perspective, I think White versus Wilder in the UK is best, but I just want the fight to happen. Don't really care where it is." Same here. I don't really give a damn where it's at. Tell you the truth. The bad guy says, "I don't think Eddie Hearn cares where White fights. Eddie is desperate for that WBC belt." Yeah, he's desperate to give White that opportunity. He is. He is. JW was good, man. Corey Lee Boxing says, "Check my message about Usyk." Yeah, is that the message you left me saying that in this comment section, saying you think he's gonna be the he's gonna knock off the heavyweights in a couple years? I give him more of a shot than a lot of people. A lot of people look at him and say, he ain't got the power. But it's not really about power with Usyk. It's about him not letting you land your power. He has good legs. And actually, I'm gonna be real with y'all. If you guys check my older videos, I forgot which video was in, but if you guys been following me, you've heard me say this. Shit, I'm not sure Who wins between Usyk and Power? Between Usyk and Parker? I'm not sure who wins that fight. I will favor Parker, but I really don't fucking know. Now I know some of you may think look at that and say, well, shit, Parker's about to fight AJ, and so he should not have a chance against AJ. But I don't know, man. Sometimes when you can't hit what's not there, man, I don't give a damn how powerful you are. What's power if you can't hit the target? You can have all the power in the world and have all the imposing size in the world, but if you can't hit that target, you just a big strong motherfucker in there missing. You know what I mean? Usyk has good legs, man, and when he has got tagged, I think he gets close, like the fight he had with Michael Hunter. Um, Michael Hunter dad was a damn good fighter too back in the days, but that fight he had with Michael Hunter though, Hunter's another guy I did a prospect watch video on too, because he was going from cruiser to heavyweight. But anyways, the fight he had with Hunter, and I did a prospect watch on Usyk too when he when he got the cruiser, because I think he's a guy that's going to eventually go to heavyweight. But anyways, though, um, he was engaging in trying to mix it up with him. You know what I'm saying? But when he want to use his legs and stay on that out and throw them combinations and come in awkward angles and all that type of shit, he can be a handful, man. Now, if he gets cracked, how is he going to react at heavyweight against one of the big lethal punchers? I don't know. His legs may start to do a little dance. You know what I mean? His legs might start doing the James Brown. But then shit, man, if you can't catch that, man, you're just gonna be missing. If Spilka can last in the damn division, I think Usyk can beat Spilka, and not because Spilka got put into a coma against Wilder. I think he would have beat Spilka 2 years ago. I really rate Usyk, man. I really do. Now he's going to be heavyweight champ or be undisputed champ. I think the odds are against him. But could he come up and win some solid heavyweight fights? Yes. I think he could beat Manuel Char. I think he could beat Shannon Briggs right now. I think he could beat Freza Kendo. I think he could beat Joe Joyce. I think he could beat Stavern. I think he could beat. I would favor him against Charles Martin. There's a few I think he could beat, man. Mr. Boxing all day. What's good, bro? He says, Mr. Boxing AJ beats inactive 41-year-old Klitschko equals praise. White beats inactive overweight juiceless Brown equals praise. Wilder demolishes active undefeated 38-year-old equals old man. What the fuck? Please explain. It's just the fan bases, bro. We know what it is, man. It's just the fan base. You know what I mean? It's just the fan base. Because I know the Wilder detractors after Wilder beats Stavern, he's inactive and it was pretty much the opposite of what just happened with Dillian White and Brown. You know what I mean? What it is, man, it's just fans going back and forth with each other, man. We know what it is. Just to make this short, we know what it is, bro. We know exactly what it is. It's just fans finding a way to take away when they're arguing about fighters, just nitpicking the other fighter, their whole resume, and trying to nitpick their best win and take away from it. And we know what it is, man. Scooby says, okay, y'all talking to each other. Now I'm watching the Dokes versus Weaver rematch. And this one was a draw. Dokes has some fast hands. Sometimes he will leave his head up in the air a little bit too much. Like right now, Weaver jabbing the hell out of him. Dokes will just leave his head up in the air too much, and his gloves will be down, or his hands will be down, and then it kind of wake him up, and then he'll try to kind of catch your jab and your straight rights or whatever with his right glove, and then he'll lean back. Let me get back to this comment section. I start watching the fight. Blood boxing, what it do? My God, man. Yo, for those you don't know, man, Blood Boxing was the first YouTube channel I started watching, man. What was that? 2000. Man, Blood been on YouTube for shit. Damn. 11 years? Some shit like that. Like, seriously, I think Blood been on YouTube for like 11 years, yo. What was it? 2018? 10 years? At least 10. I started watching Blood in like '08, some shit like that, man. And the first video, the first YouTube boxing, the first YouTube video, okay, I'm gonna get back to the comment section, but the first YouTube video I ever watched, one of my homeboys is like, hey man, have you seen that bum that know how to fight that's beating everybody ass? And I was like, a bum? I was like, what are you talking about? So we go on YouTube, and he's like, yeah, man, dude name is Kimbo. And I'm like, who the fuck is Kimbo? And he's like, nah, Kimbo. So it was a Kimbo Slice video. He's fighting a dude named Big D. And he beat the dog shit out of this. He beat the dog shit out of Big D, man. Fucked his eye up. I know y'all did probably seen it, man, in the backyard. And this dude was so timid and scared of Kimbo, man. The shit was funny. And Kimbo wasn't a bum, but it was that video was like on these bum fight DVDs, and somebody had uploaded it to YouTube. This had to be like '07 or some shit like that. And he was fighting this cat named Big D, man, beating his ass all through the damn backyard. And to the point, man, where you know when you see somebody fight and you can tell they don't want to fight, man. You can tell they get tagged one, two times, one, two, three times, and you can just tell they don't want to fight. Cause dude was like, hold on, man, my foot, man, my cause dude slipped. And then he tried to like, and then Kimbo was tagging his ass, and then he tried to like give Kimbo props because he slipped again. Then he tried to give Kimbo props, like reach his hand out, like to give him props. Kimbo, get your motherfucking hand out my face, like slapped his hand off the way. Like, fuck that nigga, let's run this. I was like, he was beating the hell out of Big D, man. So that was the first video I watched. So now I was like, damn, what the fuck is a YouTube? So then I started typing in other things. So then I remember I typed in like Tua versus Abea Buche because that was a fight I hadn't seen in years. So I started typing in fights that I didn't have on VHS. And it wasn't giving me everything. At first, YouTube didn't have everything. It didn't have everything. It'll have certain fights, and a lot of them shits I already had on VHS. So it was just like, I got a lot of these on VHS, and I still had a VCR at that time, access to one. So as the years went on, YouTube started adding more videos and more videos. So it had to been like, it was probably a few months before the Mayweather versus De La Hoya fight, and I typed in, so yeah, so I started coming to YouTube to watch other cats talk about boxing. And I figured it out that they were doing it when I typed in Mayweather versus De La Hoya. I just typed it in. And it was cats like leaving predictions. And I'm like, damn, this dude's on here like talking about boxing. Because a lot of us, man, we're the smartest people in our clique or our group of friends, rather, when we talk about boxing. Like everybody on YouTube is like mainly the smartest guy out of their friends. And then we all talk. You know, we're like the super nerds. You know what I mean? Because my friends, a lot of my friends, they're more casual. Even when I used to have my fight parties, I should do a fight party episodes, man, because it was just crazy, y'all. I got some crazy stories about fight parties, man. From the '90s through my college years in the early 2000s, some crazy shit. It was always fights, like at the fight. It was, man. It's just them. Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, I typed that and I'm like, damn, cats on here. Then there was these two white dudes, Alpha and Omega. What was they? If Blood, you still Blood to remember their name if he's still in the comment section. I forgot the name of their channel, but I think they was one dude was called Alpha, the other dude was named Omega or some shit like that. So it was them two dudes in Blood. Blood more my type of, you know, more in my lane is the way he break down boxing and talk about it. And so I was watching him. And I used to just watch Blood, and I wasn't on, you know, I didn't make a page yet because I was still on eastsideboxing.com. I used to be Monster of the Midway on there. So I used to always just go back and forth in the chat rooms from like '04, '05, '06. And shit, even probably longer than that. And then I started to follow cats like D Style and Carcino. And listen, I'm going to forget somebody, so let me stop naming cats. But Blood was the first one. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to forget nobody, so let me quit naming people because I know I'm gonna forget like 20 channels from back in the day. But Blood was the first one though, man. So, And then when I got on YouTube, when I finally made my page, I could have been on YouTube back then. At that time, I didn't know how to fucking upload. I didn't know how to do none of that shit. I wasn't savvy. I wasn't privy to how things work. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to upload or none of that shit. So when I finally made my page in 2010, the very first video I did, I was talking about old school heavyweights, and then the second video I did, it was uh it was December 2010 on my first channel. I did Cotto versus Mayorga prediction. Because when I was talking about the heavyweights, literally, y'all, 22 views. I'm trying to talk about like Helenius and Klitschko. Man, when nobody coming in them shits, man, it was like I was talking to myself. So I stopped. I was like, well, man, shit, I at least want a few people to show up, man. I ain't trying to get 66 views in 7 days talking about Samuel Peter versus Helenius, you know what I mean? Or Marius Wack upcoming fight. I was like, nobody cares about this shit like that. So I started talking about what everybody else talked about for like a month or two. Mayweather, Pacquiao, Cotto, Mayorga, Hopkins. Then I stayed true to myself. I was like, man, fuck this, man. So then I reached out to Blood, and he was the first person I did a collab with. That was like January 2011. And we broke down Larry Holmes, Tyson, Ali. We went through it all. You know what I mean? So I know I kind of went off on memory lane here, man, but just had to share that one. Get back to this comment section. Yeah, Blood said 11 years. Yeah, it's been 11 years. Because I've been on here like, shit, 9 years. Yeah, so I know you at least got about 3 years on me. Gideon Teddy Nye says, Mr. Boxing, do you please know what is going on with the WBC heavyweight rankings? Nah, man. For right now, I can't pull it up right now because I'm on my phone, so this should have cut me off if I try to go online right now. And I don't feel like getting another tablet or nothing. So, but pretty much, man, I see guys like I seen Caballero was in the rankings, Rivas was in there. I seen Dupa's in the top 10. One was Dillian White, two was Brazil. I believe Povetkin's in there somewhere. I mean, their rankings, man. If you go all across the board, WBC, IBF, WBO, WBA, it's all across the board, man. They're all pretty shitty. Blood, the first part of the video, bro, I was talking about, you'll probably appreciate the first, if you watch this again, bro, the very first beginning of the video. I started off talking about this Dokes and Weaver, their first fight that they had. And I went over a little bit of the landscape, how, Holmes was really looked at as the man. And the first fight between Dokes and Weaver, that was pretty much to decide who was the second best heavyweight. And was at like 82 around that time. You know what I mean? I kind of covered that a little bit, man. So you'll probably appreciate the beginning of this video. Ascension says, I think Parker on points and more likely than by knockout. Yeah, I think he wins by knockout. I mean, I'm sorry. I think he will win by points more than knockout. I got to go into decision. I think AJ by decision in a competitive fight is going to surprise people. So we'll see. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, baby. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, but we'll see though. We'll see. Eddie Hearn, what's good, man? Eddie Hearn in the chat. He says, I want White versus Miller first in New York would be good. Laugh out loud. Let me see. Rockstar 1996 says JP gonna go the distance against AJ. I think he can, but a lot of people don't agree. Yeah, I think so too. A lot of people disagree with me about that too. Spirit Jab, what's up? He says, bro, that eye still scares me to this day. Spirit Jab says, let me see. Okay. Oh, you talking about that Kimbo Slice? Are you talking about that Kimbo Slice shit fighting Big D in the backyard? He beat the shit out of Big. Yeah, rest in peace, Kimbo, man. That when he said, fuck that nigga, let's run this. That was some G shit right there, man. Dude was trying to be all nice and man, if you don't get your damn hand on my face and put your damn dukes up, that shit was hilarious. Yeah, boxing for real. That was the name of them two cats, man. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I think they was one of the first cats to have an interview with Wilder. Now that and I'm talking about like 2011. I remember they did an interview with Wilder. It was awkward as hell. It was an awkward interview, but I think they're the first cats I seen from the boxing community to do an interview with. I could be wrong, but they're one of the first cats to do an interview with Wilder. I'm talking like, what was that, like 2009? Had been like 2009, 2010. Blood, tell me if you remember that, man. Mr. Boxing all day says, love Blood Boxing returns, even though he ain't a fan of English muffins and snooker. Yo, Blood be cracking me up, man. Jay Royal says, what's good, man? Really digging these live shows you've been doing. Feels like chopping it up with the homies. And that's what I try to do, man. I know a lot of time I talk about a lot of fighters that people never heard of. Um, so sometimes I feel like I'm speaking Chinese and shit. People don't understand it. For those of you who don't understand Chinese, so I try to mix it up with other current things too. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, man, that's how I try to have the channel, man. Like we just chopping it up. You know what I mean? And I'm not here to pull rank, and I'm right in my but I believe what I say is right. You know what I mean? For me. You know what I mean? But I like people that got opposing opinions. We could chop it up, go back and forth, man. You know what I mean? This how I used to chop it up with my uncles, man. We used to watch fights back in the day. I mean, any fight you name, man, from shit, man, from the late 80s till, well, we haven't, as you get older, you start families and things get a little bit different. But from the late 80s till about the mid 2000, like 2005 ish, six was really the when the fight parties was going on for me. You know what I mean? But this how I always chopped up with my uncles and my father and my mom and my homeboys that have come over and watched the Tyson Holyfield, and you know what I mean? This how we chopped it up. When we had the little black box. Remember the little black box? You can still cable and shit. One of my homeboys had that. That's how I watched cause I watched me and my family watched the first Tyson Holyfield. The second Tyson Holyfield I watched on the black box. Um, I mean, I'm coming from the days of motherfucking if you guys had cable, you know how you go to them. Y'all heard me tell this story, but this is how much of a fan that I was of this shit, man. On my I remember watching Foreman versus Moore when Foreman shocked the world on a salt and pepper TV screen. You know what I mean? When like you couldn't get that pay per view channel, but you could still hear the audio. That was gold for me. I didn't give a fuck if I could see it or not. As long as I can hear what's going on, shit, I'm watching that whole. I'm listening to that whole pay per view. You know what I'm saying? Where the motherfucking popcorn at? I'm about to sit back and just enjoy this shit. And I was big into basketball then, so I'll be in my room just dribbling my ball, listening to the fight, dribbling my ball, listening to the fight, dribbling in and out, through the legs, behind the back, spin moves. Seriously, you know what I mean? So James Tony Roy Jones, come watch it. Shit, turn on that motherfucking turn that salt and pepper on. We gonna watch. We gonna listen to it just like that, just like that. Let's see here. Blood Boxing Return says, I'm going to watch the replay. I can't wait. Blood Boxing says, for you to join me on the series. Yeah, man. We're going to definitely hook up, Blood. It's always epic when we hook up, man. Levi Khan says, that's not the real Eddie Hearn. Yeah, I know it's not, man. I know it's not the real Eddie Hearn. Come on, y'all. I ain't that naive, man. Eddie. Y'all remember Eddie Murphy's Raw? I don't know. It's probably some of y'all ain't probably seen that, man. I remember I used to have to sneak and watch that VHS comedy, that stand up, that Eddie Murphy's Raw comedy, and Delirious. I used to have to sneak and watch that. Red Fox. I remember my grandma used to have like the Red Fox CDs and shit, and tape cassettes, and Richard Pryor and all that. I used to sneak and listen to that. I'm talking about all types of shit, man. Let me try to stick to boxing. Okay, Teddy. Blyderwood says, just watched the video with Dokes being upset, so it's ironic watching this fight. Always appreciate another fan that appreciate the old school, man. So shouts out to you, Teddy, watching the old Dokes fight. What Grand Pooba say? I wouldn't be here today if the old school didn't pave the way. Ain't nothing like the old school. Then Tupac remixed it. Yeah, blood boxing, the scramblers. We came up on them scramblers, man. We came up on them damn scramblers, boy, because sometimes just, my parents, not that they didn't want to watch the fight, but shit, just sometimes, just couldn't order the fight, man. You know what I'm saying? And I was finding ways, Jack, like, I ain't about to miss no fight, man. Because it ain't like today, man, where you can just, miss the fight. 2 hours later, shit's on YouTube. Nah, man, you had to hope and pray that somebody had the fucking VHS. or you just had to hear about a motherfucker talk about it. And then you hear them talk about it, then watch it and be like, man, this wasn't shit how you said it was. You know what I'm saying? Or you have to wait for the magazines to come out and then read about it. And then like when, I'll give ESPN props though, because when they came out with that ESPN Classic channel, they would start showing old fights on ESPN Classic. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give them props because that was what, late 90s when ESPN Classic started? Was it the mid to late 90s when they came with that channel? But one thing about ESPN Classic though is they would show like the, Joe Walcott and all that type of shit, which I appreciate them fights too. But at that time, I was really wanting to shit, man. What just happened last year though? I want to see them joints. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the Ruddock fight that I missed. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the, you know what I'm saying, the Witherspoon fight that I missed, or I missed that Bo Galata first fight. You know what I mean? Like that type of shit. I was trying to see those right away, where they'll show you some Joe Louis joints. You know what I mean? Which I appreciate them. I appreciated them too. Spear Jab says, I remember the Scrambler screen days too. Old school version, stream and fight. Hell yeah, man. And that's why I relate to a lot of boxing fans that come from that era. Not that I don't that I can't have a good convo with younger guys that are younger than me, but I really have really good, so I try to have really good conversations with them. But I really have really great conversations with guys that are my age, probably a little few years younger or older than me. You know what I mean? I just like the appreciation for the old school, man. And it doesn't necessarily mean, just because it's older is better, or just because it's newer is better. It's just, to me, you watch it and you decide. You know what I'm saying? You watch it and you decide, man. But um, I just have appreciation for that old school, man. I'm old school to the bone, Gristle. Jay Royale says, I got AJ winning by decision, but honestly, half the reason I want him to win is because I do not want to see a rematch. Too many great matchups to be made. You damn right, man. Rockstar 1996 says, I seen Raw. It was hysterical. It's on YouTube. Yeah, man. That shit was funny. Hey, Rocco. When he was talking about the way motherfuckers come out the movie theater after watching Rocky, thinking they can fight and shit. That's why I need to do a series on my fight parties, man. I would have y'all cracking up, man, because oh man, like the night that let me just think of one. The night that let me think of one that was crazy. All right, it was when I was in college. The night that there's a few of them. When Tony fought Ruiz. And I think I was a year or two out of college when James Tony fought Ruiz, and he was taking him, and he was landing right hand counters all day long on that dude's face. But then Tony ended up popping for a dirty test. Oh my goodness, man! If you want to learn how to throw a counter right hand, go watch Tony versus Ruiz. Please go watch James Tony versus John Ruiz. Right hand counter city. Um, but I want to say it was a night that Roy lost to was it the Glenn Johnson fight? Because I had a homeboy. He was drunk running around saying, he kept saying, is that nigga dead? He's like, man, that nigga dead. And I had another homeboy who was a super Roy Jones fan. And we had and that's the worst. Do not have drunk between the ages of fucking 19 and 23 year old dudes uh have a set of boxing gloves and a weight bench in the front room with liquor. Do not do That's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. And athletes, motherfuckers that then play college football, don't have that shit around because motherfuckers start hitting the weight. Like, we watching the fights, we on motherfucking weight bench trying to out rep each other. Uh then motherfuckers start getting up and sizing each other up, drinking, sizing each other up, and then next thing you know, there's a damn as the fight on, we fighting with the gloves on. And I remember, man, I forget which fight. It had to have been like that Jones or Tarver one, or was it the Jones? Them years is kind of hazy to me, man. But anyways, we end up two of my homeboys end up getting into it where we knocked over the fucking weight bench, man, and they put a fucking hole in our wall. Not this when I had roommates and shit, and the hole was put in there because the weight bench flipped over and the motherfucking hole went in the wall. We up there, they up there sparring with no headgear, no mouthpiece, just swinging for the fence as hard as hell, trying to beat each other up. The Gotti versus Floyd fight was another interesting one. It's I got a lot of them, man. Jay Royal says, laugh aloud. My dad, uncle, and all their friends would chip in and get the pay per view and would dub the VHS tapes and pass it around in the mid and late 90s. You damn right. Give me that tape. Who got the tape, man? Call him up like, hey, bro, you done with my tape, man? Dogs, I just want to dub it. I need to dub it. I used to fuck my tapes up too, where you had to reconnect the tape, where you put like scotch tape and connect the motherfucker to connect the actual VHS tape part that snapped apart and put that shit back together. And would hope and pray that it didn't fuck up a good part of the fight. Or it'll skip over that good part of the fight. Like it'll miss the knockdown or some shit. Like, damn, I hope this didn't tear where that knockdown was at. Be Easy says, I remember watching Tarver Jones 2. People in the room were shocked when Roy got knocked out. Yo, I remember that shit clear as day. Yo, look, when motherfucking Tarver said, any excuses tonight, Roy? I'm sitting there like, we all sitting there like, man, this nigga talking grease. He about to get fucked up, man. Roy wasn't right the first fight. Roy was letting him do this. You know how it is when you a fan and you think that the motherfucker's pound for pound, best thing throwing down, which he was. Roy had his run. Roy had his run, yo. But I'm like, man, but Tarver was rangy. It was still one of them fights where you're like, you just didn't know. But just rewind like a few years earlier or whatever, when Roy looked spectacular against Ruiz, it was damn like, you know, he about to go light heavyweight and beat the shit out of Tarver. But Tarver was doing his thing at light heavy when Roy was doing that. And when he said that, man, I'm like, okay. Roy gets up in there. Roy's throwing quick, sharp shots, hitting him to the body, but you can still just felt uneasy watching it. Like, yeah, he's doing. And then he just unleashed on Roy. And when Roy got knocked down and he was dazed and he's stumbling into the ropes and shit, it was just like, whoa, what the fuck? But then I think I was I was shocked. But then it was like another level against Glenn Johnson, though. I mean, he had his fucking feet crossed when he was knocked out laying there. And I remember my homie was like, he's like, that nigga dead. I remember that shit. Like, he run around the house and that nigga dead. That nigga dead. And the other homeboy got mad and then they ended up boxing. Pretty much because of that. October 4th says, do you watch Rummy's Corner on YouTube? He does. Yeah, I do watch him before I finish reading. Yeah, I do. I'm sub to Rummy's Corner. He does excellent breakdowns, go year by year. I wish I had those editing skills, man. That's why I appreciate like Rummy's Corner. I like his Blood can do that type of shit too. That's why I like watching when Blood do them type of videos. Um, yeah, but Rummy's Corner, yeah, I do watch his material. He says he does a lot of classic fighter coverage, interesting ratings based on objective data and or Ring Magazine ratings. Thought you like him? Yeah, I'm definitely sub to him for sure. Bad guy says Vitali versus Lewis. I was drunk on Thunderbird. Crazy fight that night. That was the first time I had jerk chicken. That was the first time I had jerk chicken was at that fight party. It's funny. I can remember different fights by just shit that was going on where I was. So you could bring up any fight, and I'll have something to say about that fight. Like, oh, my homeboy got punched in the mouth, or our fucking weight set went through the wall, and that for that fight, or my homeboy hit the just all types of crazy shit, man. I've seen J Rose says I've seen high school scraps better than that shit for real, and didn't cost the car payments to watch. Mia Dan says, what about Hay versus Klitschko? Good fight. My brother, my the second oldest one, he had came up from the ATL. He was down in ATL for a few years. Me and him watched that fight together when he came up that summer, or during that time. Forget if it was the spring, summer when that fight. I believe was that fight like June of 2011 or 12 or something like that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. When Hay fought Klitschko, had been 11 or 12, like June or some shit, June, July or something. But yeah, Haver Klitschko, y'all remember that, man? When people actually thought Hay was gonna win that fight. Remember, quick. Klitschko never fought nobody like this. Quick, powerful with both hands, awkward. He's a bigger version of Roy Jones Jr. Y'all remember them comments? See, that's one thing. I've been remembering comments from chat rooms or different forums I used to be on, mainly Eastside Boxing, and coming here on YouTube. I've been remembering shit people used to say. It's just funny now when we talk about shit in hindsight, people look at that win and be like, "Oh man, that shit was boring." Even if it was not, even if it was lackluster, people be forgetting what was said going into fights, and that's what be upsetting me most sometimes, man. It's like people just be forgetting shit, man. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing about like the Wilder and Ortiz thing, where I'll be like, but what about when everybody's saying the dude was scared to fight him though? How we just gonna be forgetting stuff just because he got knocked out, just because he knocked the dude out? But I remember people saying, "Hey," now I'm not saying fucking Hay was favored by the betting odds, but people were favoring him to win the fight. They thought he had a good chance. And the entrance to that fight, the light show, and they had Foreman in it and Vitali, that shit was crazy. The Klitschko's had some of the best entrances, man. Like them shits was like $1 million fucking productions. Like, damn, who produced this shit? Hype Williams? Like, like who the hell produced this? Gary Grant out this motherfucker? Like, god damn. Steven Spielberg produced this shit? Be Easy says, I watched Tyson Lewis in the barbershop. They charged $5 per head. Only one dude in the shop had Lennox winning prior to the fight. He was eating off them side bets. It was talking cash shit. I remember that one. Watched that with teammates. We had came back to my hometown. Um, my hometown was one state over from the college I was at. We had came back going for Mike, but me, the boxing nerd, knew that Lennox was gonna beat the shit out of Mike Tyson. I knew he was gonna whoop Mike ass, man. But it was just one of them like, I just wish Mike wins this fight, man. Just want to see Mike win. That fight was in the Pyramid out there in Memphis. I was pulling for Mike, man, but Lennox, man, come on, man. Around that time, I know people say, but they were the same age, but they aged differently. And Lennox was more still coming off or around ish his peak. I'm not saying he was at his peak, but he was a step away from it, whereas Mike was 4, 5, 6, 7 steps away from his peak. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say Lennox was at his peak, but he was way more. He was very formidable then, and I was just hoping Mike got lucky and landed something, man, and it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen at all. And I remember motherfucker Manuel Stewart getting into Lennox. You got a dead man in front of you. He was smacking his chest and shit. Like, go out there, knock. I forgot what he said verbatim. Go in there, knock that motherfucker out. Like, Emmanuel was like, man, do not play with this man. Do not play with him. Yeah, you beating him and you dominating, but do not play with him, man. Get him the fuck up out of here. What did you playing around for? Lennox was still trying to be timid. You know what I'm saying? Just stylistically, like Lennox, get him the fuck out of here, man. What is you holding and jab and occasional rights and uppercuts? Man, finish him. But man, I wanted Mike to win that fight, man. I was a Mike fight. I was a Tyson fan to the bone, Gristle. Yo, like I ordered everything. Even when he fought what's the dude that he fought when he sparred his last thing that was on pay-per-view, Corey Sanders. Not the dude that beat Vladimir, but the other one, the tall black dude. When he fought him, I ordered that. I ordered all that shit. I ordered the McBride fight, uh, all them shits, yo. I was with Mike to the bitter end, man. I was with Mike to the bitter end. Yeah, wasn't it? Was it Corey T Rex Sanders? Was that his name? Did he went by? Was it T Rex or some shit? Hey, you know a fight I'm gonna watch, man, that I ain't seen in a while, and I got a memory about this one too. I'm gonna go back and watch that Samuel Peter versus Jamel McCline fight, man. Peter has some good fights that I like when he was coming up, man. The Klitschko fight, um, he put Williams into a fucking coma. But the Klitschko fight I like, and the first James Tony fight, I thought James won that first joint. And that was the first time and the only time I was like, you know what, man, James is he got a chin, his skills. And that was one of the fights where I wanted James to win, but I really thought James was gonna get knocked out. I was like, man, James can probably gonna school him a little bit, probably the first few rounds, then Sam gonna start to land them big ass thudding shots, and he gonna get James up out of there. That right there, man. James Tony's a G. He's a G, man. How many motherfuckers you know that'd be at a size disadvantage like that, go in there and as I call it, being able to stand in the fire, which means stand up close, give him the target, stand right there, and just make him miss. And Peter at that time was a scary puncher. I know you can look at him now and he just fucking fought Pulev last year and shit. I ain't talking about this Peter. I'm talking about the who next? Who next? I'm talking about that Samuel Peter. The motherfucker where you were like, oh shit. Who the fuck is this Nigerian dude? That Sam Peter. You know what I'm saying? That went in there and whooped Moskiev. That dude. But McCline was getting with him though. Jamel McCline was getting with him though, man. Be easy. Let me see. Blood Boxing says I was sad that fight that night. Yeah, the Tyson man. Damn, I wanted Mike to win, yo. Be easy says people wouldn't let that Mike Mystique go. You damn right. Mike come back today. I'm picking Mike to beat Wilder, Josh for all these suckers. Mike was my dude, man. Unless Holmes come back. If Holmes come back, then I'm picking Holmes. I'm biased as hell when it come to Holmes, Ali, and Big George. But realistically, I think they will beat anybody. But they're my dudes right there, man. Them is my dudes right there. And then Evander and Mike and Lennox and Jack Johnson. Um, just looking him up and reading about him and watching the fights that are on YouTube or were at the library that I can. Because I remember going to the library, all the other kids would be picking, books, sci-fi and all this weird shit. I'm picking Rocky Marciano autobiography, Sugar Ray Robinson, you know what I'm saying? The Michael Jordan book and shit. I'm picking them books, but I was really picking the boxing joints because even some of my homeboys, they picking the Magic Johnson book. Just a little corny 50-page watered down ass book they'll do on Joe Montana. I'm picking George Foreman books. You know what I mean? I'm picking them type of books, man. And so yeah, I got a Jack Johnson book downstairs, but Jack Johnson definitely got to be up there. His defense was ahead of his time. Being the way he used his size in his fight was ahead of his time, in my opinion. Just his style, the way he could move. He was big and strong, but was sleek, and you know what I mean. He had good movement, and I thought it was ahead of his time. And he would walk you down in a kind of methodical type of way and break you down. You know what I mean? Johnson, I love Jack Johnson as a fighter. Vitali grew on me. He would be if I had to put together a top 10. I ain't talking about resume and he's taller and a longer reach. He's definitely in my top 10. Vitali Klitschko. Um, Lennox Beast. But if we're talking about favorite, just my personal favorites, like just my personal favorites though, those three, Ali, Holmes, and Big George and Holyfield and Mike. And it's funny because I hated Holy. I know I said this so many times, but I hated that dude, man. I hated him, man. He would win fights, and because I knew him and Mike would have to fight, man, and they were trying to make fights, but shit was happening. You know, Tyson injured his ribs in training, and he went to the joint and all that. And Evander, like I liked Evander, but when it came time to fight Mike, it was like I don't like dude. You know, he'll win fights, then it was, he'll praise God and he'll lose fights. I ain't hear nothing about God. I just thought he was a hypocrite. I just didn't like him. I was finding reasons not to like him. I don't like the way his fucking nose is shaped. I would find anything about Evander not to like when it was coming to fight Mike. You know what I mean? I didn't like anything. I don't like his shoes. I don't like the nigga's shoes. Like it's just I hated him, man. I just did not like him when he had to fight Mike. Um, and then after he beat Mike, I just kept hating him. Although he was winning and good performance. I just hate him. Like I wanted Lennox to knock his ass out in the first round. Like I just hated him. But after you get older, you start getting older, and you're like, man, Evander was a motherfucking beast, man. That dude was a beast. Undisputed cruiserweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion, will fight anybody. Um, he was a beast. The dude was a beast. I know people want to bring up, oh, he was he's on steroids, or he had drugs sent to was that the Evans Fields to his address, um, but as what I saw him do in the ring though, as far as his heart, you can't. Well, I can't take away from that, man. And he was willing to fight any and everybody, man. Um, he was an underrated boxer. He wasn't the fastest, but he had good boxing skills. I liked his story, how he grew up, how he started his career at the YMCA, how he came from nothing. Came from nothing. You know what I'm saying? Um, Little country dude that came from nothing, man. Nobody believed in him. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these guys grew up like that. Because when you a kid, say I'm gonna be the heavyweight champion of the world, people are like, oh, okay, that's cute. You know what I mean? Get your little ass over there and hit that bag. You know what I mean? But I just like his story, man. I like Evander's story. And when I watched that Tyson fight, when Tyson bit him, it's more than just the infamous ear bite. That's that's a life lesson, man. And I ain't trying to get mushy and shit, because I know a lot of y'all grown ass men and shit, but the dude got bit, man, and he didn't look at the ref and say, please stop the fight. Look, Mills, he did show him that he bit him, because he was like, hey, this motherfucker bit me. But this nigga was in the corner, like saying a prayer. You could see him mumbling, saying a prayer. I don't know what prayer he was saying, but he wanted to whoop Mike ass. And that's why I think Mike bit him again. Like, Mike was probably like, damn, you still want to fight? Let me bite your ass again, because I thought that one bite would just end the fight. You know what I'm saying? And Evander had Mills let that fight. If they would have let that fight go on, he would have stopped Mike, man. He was going to beat the dog shit out of Mike. He jumped up and down and was, pointing at his ear, because he probably couldn't believe his motherfucker bit him, but he was there to whoop Mike ass again. And I have to respect him after I look back at that. But even when that happened, I was like, yeah, Mike, bite that motherfucker ear off. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He headbutting, and I was all with Mike. I was such a Mike fan when Mike fought Botha. Remember when Mike took Botha's arm and was twisting that motherfucker? I was like, yeah, twist his arm. Like, I was a fanatic. Like, I'm glad I have a YouTube channel. I would have probably been balanced talking about other fighters, but when it came to Mike, I would have been one of them channels you'd be like, man, I can't listen to this dude talk about Mike. Because I remember watching that Botha fight, and right before he hit Botha with that short, probably one of the shortest right hands I've seen land, like some Joe Louis type shit, short right hand that hit Botha. And Botha like to go, huh, huh, and all that shit. And he was like, Every time he punch you, huh, huh. And he went to go, huh, hit his ass right in his motherfucking chin, man. And right before that, the announcer, I forgot who was announcing the fight, but they were like, this is the, what did he say? He said exactly, this is the sign of he said, this is the sign of a shot fighter when he can't get off. Boom. Right when he said that, Mike hit his ass. All right, let me get back to this comment section. I'm gonna read a few comments, man. Let me get off. I can talk about this boxing shit all day. Let me read a few more y'all comments. I appreciate y'all kicking it with me, man. We just come and kick it, y'all. We just come here to kick it, man. Lawrence Williams, what's good, man? He says Sanders that fought Galata. Yeah, you talking about the Corey? Yeah, that Corey Sanders. Um, October 4th says Stewart was having a heart attack, worrying Mike was going to find that shot like from the Douglas fight. Lewis was taking his time, and Emmanuel was freaking out. Yes, he was. He was trying to be, trying to break him down gradually. And man, Emmanuel was like, man, if you don't get this man up out of here and stop playing. Speaking of Douglas Tyson, bro, it took me until I didn't watch that. Sometimes you'll turn to ESPN Classic and they'll have it on, but I would turn away. So I'm not going to say that I didn't see glimpses of the fight. I'm not going to lie to y'all. The last time I watched that fight in its entirety, I didn't even see it live. I remember waking up the next morning. It was still dark out. And it was during the winter time. And my mom woke me up like an hour before school because ESPN was on. and she was like, wake up, wake up. So I wake up. She was like, Mike Tyson lost. You see how I just went silent right there? That's what it was. It was like, I went to school as a kid, mad, upset, about to cry. Got to see the tape. Watched it in 1990. I didn't watch that fight in its entirety until I want to say '08 on YouTube. It was on YouTube when I watched it in its entirety. Didn't want the tape. Fuck that tape, burn it. I didn't carry that tape with me. Any of Tyson's losses, well, I got them now because I got the tapes back. But I would let them tapes just stay borrowed. You know what I mean? But as you get older and shit, man, I'm damn near approaching 40 now. So as you get older, you don't think like that. Well, I hope grown motherfuckers ain't out there thinking like this. But yeah, man. Not to say I wasn't over it when I was 27, 26, 25, but it's just I just never had, I never just thought of go on YouTube and just watch it like that. But it had to been, it was years, man. I may be off by a year or two, but it was somewhere in there. It was somewhere in that mid to late, like early 2000s, somewhere in there, like '06, '07, '08. When watching its entirety. Now, did I turn past ESPN Classic a few times throughout them years and I seen it on like, oh, I ain't watching that motherfucking fight. Oh, y'all got a Mike Tyson day? Not watching this hour. I'll turn back the next hour. I just didn't want to see Mike get done like that, man. But now, I mean, I've watched the fight plenty of times, just breaking it down. Buster Douglas fought a beautiful fight, man. He fought a beautiful fight against a pressure fighter. Look, I'm not gonna make this to another hour long breaking down. Well, Mike was doing this and he wasn't right, and he was having menages with uh, out there in Tokyo, and we can factor all that in, man. I don't, so I'm not gonna go through all that. If you know the stories, you guys know we all nerds here, man, about boxing, so we know the stories and all that. But Buster Douglas fought an excellent fight. He worked that damn jab. He worked that uppercut. The uppercut. He was confident. He was pushing Mike off. He bullied him, backed him up, made him respect him. You know what I'm saying? That's what did happen. I didn't see the porno tapes of him having menages and eating, you know what I mean, and all that type of shit, and snorting coke or whatever he was doing. I didn't see that. But what I did see is him get his ass whooped. That's what I did see. You know what I'm saying? Douglas get off that mat. You could say long counting, even when Don King, and that's why when I say it's like when Eddie Hearn tries to say his little slick shit. That's why I'd be like, dude, Eddie Hearn, don't you know some of us grew up on Don King? That motherfucker was a snake, man. He would, and Don King was way more charismatic than Eddie Hearn. Way more charismatic. Way more charismatic. You know what I mean? Um, Don King will sometimes he could talk like a politician. He could talk like a motherfucking pastor. He can, what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He could switch it up on you. Talk like a pimp. You know what I'm saying? He killed somebody, used to run numbers out there in Cleveland. So Don King was a street dude, man. You know what I'm saying? I knew a lot of Don Kings. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, when they were lobbying for remember when they were in that had that press conference and they all trying to count, y'all remember that? Mike wearing the damn dark shades and they're 8, 9, 10, and all that shit. I'm just sitting there watching that like, man, okay, whatever. Douglas got up and whipped your ass, man. And plus Mike the fighter, and I remember him talking about this later on in his documentaries that I've seen over the years. He didn't want the title back like that. Come on, y'all. Like, let's say he did get the title back. Man, we seen you get knocked the fuck out looking for your mouthpiece with a swollen eye. You ain't no champ. You got knocked out. Who would want their title back after that? And say, see, look, y'all, I'm the champ. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. Yeah, ain't. No, you ain't. That shit would have been like Menace to Society. This looked like Kane on this tape whooping your ass. This looked like Buster Douglas. This looked like Buster Douglas on this tape whooping your ass. For those of you who seen Menace to Society, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. That's what his homeboys have been doing around that time, yo. Catch a few of these old comments. Let me scroll down, see what y'all talking about. Duke Owen says his pops ran the streets with Don King. Was they running numbers together? Your pops running numbers with Don King? Don King was a street dude, man. So if your pops ran with him, your pops probably well, yeah, you said he ran the streets with him, so yeah, everybody got some street cats in their family, man. Especially if you in the inner city. I'm not saying every family, but y'all get what I'm saying though. Because God knows I did. Let's see. October 4th says, do you think Cuss and Rooney and Tyson's corner would have beaten Douglas and Holyfield? You damn right. And I'm not saying that as a, but okay. Let me see. Let me put that away for a minute. I really do believe that Holyfield had Tyson's number. Maybe I should do a video about this because I really want to end this chat, Joe, because I got some shit I got to do, man. But I really do believe Holyfield had his number. I really do. I'll just leave it like that for right now. I'll leave that for another video. That'll be another topic for another video, y'all. Rockstar96 says, haha, I love to see reaction videos to you watching Tyson versus Douglas. You know what? I'm gonna do Tyson. How I think Holyfield had his number based on their styles and just things that I've heard from the amateur days of Tyson trying to bully cats at the tournaments and Holyfield standing up to him at the pool hall and all that. I'm gonna go over all that, and then I'm gonna yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Tyson Douglas, the next fight I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna try to watch it live. I wish I can have like a screen share where we can watch the fight together. I just don't want to get a copyright. Maybe Blood or somebody, or I know D Style used some cats I know in here, they be having fights on and not getting copyright. So maybe I need to learn how to do that. And we could watch it together. We could watch it together. Blood says he watched the Lewis fight only that night. Yeah, I haven't watched the Lewis Tyson fight in a while either. I haven't watched that in a long time. I know I only watched the McBride fight that night, and I watched the Danny Williams fight that night. I watched that one with my uncle. I had came back from out of town when I was living out of town, out of state. Came back, watched that one with my uncle. Mike was just said fucking in that one, man. He just sat there. Rockstar96 says, man, you Tyson fans sound crazy. Yeah, man. See, at least I admit, at least I ain't sitting here like, no, I'm not. I'm not a crazy Tyson fan. No, I was, man. And to a point, I still am. But, you know, Mike did get his ass whooped in some fights, though. All right, y'all. I hear my kids coming in, man. So this live stream has to end because they about daddy, pulling out homework and all types of shit. So about to get at it with these children, as my grandma would say, these children. About to tend to these children, man. My grandma with that Mississippi accent. Y'all be easy, man. It's fight week, man. It is fight week. AJ versus Parker, man. So for a cat like me, man, whether you know, whatever you think about whatever it is, man, 3 heavyweight titles on the line is something, between two different fighters. Is something that I've been not, guys not named Klitschko, and that era is over with. I've been waiting for the new era. Not that I, dislike the Klitschko's. It's just that a new era is going to come. You know what I mean? Evander Holyfield ain't walking through that door. You know what I mean? Vitaly and Vladimir ain't walking through the door. You know what I'm saying? So I've been waiting for weekends like this, just like I waited for when Wilder fought Ortiz. Those type of fights. So I like this fight, and can't wait for this shit to happen and see what happens after that. But it's fight week, man. It is fight week. Y'all be easy, man. Till next time. And next time we on here, I'm gonna do Tyson Douglas. All right, I'm gone.